Today, we're about to attempt what Bugatti think is impossible.
Can't do that in a garage. There's just a few places in the world with the right equipment and only a few people in the world with the right training to be able to do.
The story begins with growing tension in the modern car world, where manufacturers are building faster, smarter, and more locked-down machines, while independent creators are trying to understand and repair them in public. In recent years, Mat Armstrong has become one of the most well-known figures in this space. He is known for buying damaged luxury cars and rebuilding them step by step on YouTube. His videos are not just about fixing cars, but also about showing how complicated modern vehicles have become. At the same time, companies like BYD are pushing into the high-performance market with expensive and powerful electric cars that challenge old supercar brands. This creates an interesting situation where technology, money, and control over repair rights all come together. In the background, fans of cars are watching something bigger than just entertainment. They are watching a silent fight between car makers who want full control of their machines and creators who want to open them up for everyone to see. The idea of a YouTuber being trusted with a multi-million-dollar hypercar is not just surprising. It feels almost impossible. Yet this is exactly the type of situation that modern car culture is moving toward, where digital systems, software locks, and brand protection are becoming just as important as engines and wheels. This opening sets the stage for a story that is not only about cars, but also about freedom, technology, and who gets to repair the machines we buy. The rise of BYD into the world of extreme performance cars is one of the biggest surprises in the modern automotive industry. Once known mainly for affordable electric vehicles, BYD has now entered the hypercar space with machines that can compete with some of the most famous names in history. Their luxury division has started producing vehicles with extreme power, advanced battery systems, and designs meant to challenge brands like Ferrari and Bugatti. One of the most talked about cars is the Yangwang U9 Extreme, a limited production electric hypercar with thousands of horsepower and record-breaking performance claims. This shows how quickly the industry is changing. Traditional brands like Ferrari and Bugatti Rimac have spent decades building their reputation through engines, speed, and exclusivity. But now, electric companies are entering the same space with different technology and a different mindset. Instead of focusing only on engine sound and mechanical heritage, they focus on battery power, software control, and acceleration numbers that were impossible a few years ago. This shift creates both excitement and tension. Fans are impressed by the speed, but also curious about long-term reliability and repairability. When a car becomes this advanced, it also becomes harder to fix outside of official systems. That is where the story starts to connect with creators like Mat Armstrong, who step into situations where technology is locked down and traditional repair methods are no longer enough. To understand why the situation is so important, it helps to look at the rise of Mat Armstrong himself. Before becoming a full-time car builder on YouTube, he had a very different life. He started as a professional BMX rider, competing in events and traveling across the UK. However, injuries ended his sports career early, forcing him to rethink his future. After that, he returned to something he had always been close to: cars. At first, his work was small and simple, often repairing damaged vehicles with limited tools and budget. But what made him different was his willingness to show everything on camera, including mistakes and failures. His early videos grew slowly, but viewers appreciated his honesty. Over time, he began buying more expensive damaged cars, including luxury models like Audi, Bentley, and Rolls-Royce. Each project became more complex, especially as modern cars started using more electronics and software systems. One major breakthrough came when a heavily damaged luxury car restoration video went viral, bringing him a much larger audience. From that point, his channel became a full-time career. He was no longer just fixing cars in a garage. He was building a global audience that followed every repair step. This growth also meant he was now working on cars that were increasingly controlled by manufacturers through digital locks, making each new project more difficult. And the last point, one of the most important examples of this challenge, was the restoration of a crashed Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. This car is one of the rarest and most expensive hypercars ever built, designed for extreme performance and handling. It is a special version of the Chiron, made to feel sharper and more focused on corners rather than just top speed. When one of these cars was badly damaged in an accident, It became a major challenge not only because of the cost, but because of the technology inside it. The owner decided to buy back the wreck instead of letting it go through insurance. And then the project was handed to Mat Armstrong. From the start, the repair was not simple. The damage affected key parts of the car, including carbon fiber panels, electronics, and structural components. But the biggest problem was not physical damage alone. The manufacturer system was locked down, meaning official support was limited. Bugatti Rimac had strict rules about how such cars should be repaired, often requiring factory-only service. This created a major conflict between official repair methods and independent rebuilding. The estimated cost of repair in official terms was extremely high, almost matching the value of the damaged car itself. This made the independent rebuild not just a technical challenge, but also a financial and philosophical one. It raised a deeper question. Should only manufacturers have the right to control how advanced cars are repaired? As the rebuild began, the biggest obstacle was access to parts and digital systems. Modern hypercars, like the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport, are not just mechanical machines anymore. They are controlled by software, sensors, and encrypted systems that require official access. One of the most serious barriers was a locked VIN system, which controls diagnostics and part ordering. Without it, even simple repairs become extremely difficult. This is where the conflict became more serious. The manufacturer's position was clear. Repairs should only be done in official factories using approved tools. However, Mat Armstrong's approach was different. He believed that with enough knowledge, research, and creativity, even complex machines could be repaired outside the factory system. His team began searching for hidden connections between parts used in hypercars and parts used in regular cars. This process was slow and required careful investigation of part numbers and supplier networks. Surprisingly, they discovered that some safety components, like airbags, were shared with much cheaper vehicles. This meant that not every part of a hypercar is unique, even if the branding suggests otherwise. This discovery was important because it showed that modern cars often depend on shared global supply chains, even at the highest level of luxury and performance. As the project continued, the rebuild became more than just a repair job. It turned into a public demonstration of how modern car systems work and how much control manufacturers actually have over them. For fans watching online, it felt like a real-life battle between independent engineering and corporate control. Mat Armstrong was not just fixing a car anymore. He was proving that knowledge and persistence could sometimes overcome digital restrictions. At the same time, companies like Bugatti Rimac stood by their position that only factory repairs could guarantee safety and performance. This created tension between safety rules and repair freedom. The story also showed how modern hypercars are designed with extremely tight control systems, making them difficult to modify or repair outside official channels. While this protects performance and safety standards, it also limits independence. Viewers started to see that owning an expensive car does not always mean you fully control it. Software and manufacturer restrictions can still decide what can or cannot be repaired. This idea surprised many people and changed how they think about modern vehicles. It was no longer just about speed or luxury. It was also about access control and ownership rights. In the end, the rebuild process highlighted a much larger issue in the automotive world. Cars are becoming more like computers on wheels, and this changes everything about how they are repaired and maintained. The work done by Mat Armstrong shows that independent creators can still play a major role in understanding these machines, even when manufacturers try to keep control. The involvement of companies like BYD and high-performance electric vehicles also shows that the industry is moving fast toward a future where software and batteries are just as important as engines. Traditional supercar makers like Ferrari and Bugatti Rimac now face competition not only in speed, but also in technology philosophy. Some companies focus on openness and innovation, while others focus on strict control and protection. This story reflects that clash in a very real way. A damaged hypercar becomes more than just a broken machine. It becomes a symbol of how modern technology is controlled and who gets to fix it. As viewers follow these rebuilds online, they are not just watching entertainment. They are witnessing a shift in the entire automotive world, where repair rights, software access, and engineering knowledge are becoming just as important as horsepower and design. The deeper meaning behind this story becomes clearer when we look at the growing debate around right to repair in the modern car industry. In the past, repairing a car was mostly mechanical work. A skilled mechanic could open the hood, replace parts, and get the vehicle running again. But today, things are very different. Modern hypercars like the Bugatti Chiron Sport are controlled by layers of software, encrypted systems, and manufacturer-only tools. This means that even if a mechanic understands the physical damage, they may still be blocked from completing the repair because the car refuses to cooperate without official access. This is where the work of creators like Mat Armstrong becomes very important. His rebuilds are not just about fixing broken parts, but about testing how far independent repair can go in a system designed to limit it. When manufacturers like Bugatti Rimac restrict access to parts, software, or diagnostics, they argue is for safety and quality control. From their point of view, a hypercar is not just a vehicle. It is a highly sensitive machine that must be repaired in controlled conditions. But from the perspective of independent builders and many car owners, this creates a problem. If a car is fully owned by a customer, should the manufacturer still control how it is repaired? This question becomes even more important when repair costs are extremely high, sometimes reaching millions of dollars. In this situation, rebuilding a car outside the official system is not just a technical challenge, but also a statement. It shows that knowledge, research, and creativity can sometimes bypass restrictions that seem impossible at first. As more cars become software-driven, this debate will likely become even stronger, affecting not just hypercars, but everyday electric vehicles as well at the same time. The rise of companies like BYD adds another layer to this story. While traditional brands focus on heritage and mechanical engineering, BYD and other new manufacturers focus heavily on electric power, battery systems, and digital performance. Their hypercars are designed to compete directly with long-established names like Ferrari, Bugatti, and McLaren, but they use very different technology. Instead of loud engines and mechanical complexity, they rely on electric motors and advanced software control. This shift is changing what performance even means. Speed is no longer just about engines. It is about energy management, battery cooling, and computer-controlled power delivery. However, this also increases complexity in repair and maintenance. Just like the Bugatti situation, electric hypercars may also face restrictions in the future when it comes to independent repair. As vehicles become more digital, access to software systems becomes just as important as access to physical parts. This is why stories involving rebuilders like Mat Armstrong feel so important. They show what happens when real-world repair skills meet highly controlled digital machines. It also shows how fast the industry is changing, where a YouTuber working in a garage can end up dealing with machines worth millions of dollars and technology that even experienced mechanics struggle to fully understand. This clash between old-school mechanical repair and new-age digital control is shaping the future of the entire automotive world. Looking ahead, this story is not really just about one hypercar or one rebuild project. It is about where the car industry is going in the next decade. As companies like Bugatti Rimac continue to develop extreme performance machines, and brands like BYD push electric hypercars into the same performance space, the gap between traditional engineering and digital control will keep growing. At the same time, creators like Mat Armstrong will continue testing the limits of what independent builders can do outside factory systems. This creates a future where ownership, repair rights, and software access may become just as important as horsepower, speed, or design. It also raises a big question for car owners everywhere. When you buy a very advanced car, do you truly own it, or are you just licensed to use it under certain rules? The answer is still unclear, but what is clear is that the industry is moving toward more control, not less. That means independent repairers will either need to adapt by learning new digital tools, or risk being locked out of some of the most advanced machines ever built. In the end, this entire story reflects a bigger shift in technology itself. Cars are no longer just machines made of metal and rubber. They are complex systems of software, data, and engineering locked tightly together. And in this new world, every repair is not just a fix, but negotiation between human skill and machine control. At this point, the story shifts from individual projects into a wider industry conflict that is still unfolding today. The situation around the Bugatti Chiron Sport rebuild represents more than just one damaged car. It represents a test case for how far independent engineers can go when a manufacturer sets strict limits. For builders like Mat Armstrong, every step in the rebuild process becomes a challenge against systems that were designed to prevent exactly this kind of work outside official workshops. On one side, companies like Bugatti Rimac argue that extreme performance cars require extreme control. These vehicles are built with tight safety margins, complex software calibration, and highly specialized materials, meaning even small mistakes during repair could lead to serious risks. From this point of view, restricting access is not about control for its own sake, but about protecting drivers and preserving the engineering integrity of the car. On the other side, independent rebuilders and many car enthusiasts argue that ownership should include the freedom to repair, modify, and restore a vehicle without needing permission from the original manufacturer. This disagreement is not new, but becomes much more serious when the vehicles involved cost millions of dollars and rely heavily on digital systems. In older cars, mechanical skill was enough. In modern hypercars, software access is just as important as mechanical ability, and that shift changes everything about how repairs can be done. Another important layer in this story is how supply chains quietly connect even the most exclusive cars to everyday vehicles. During the rebuild process of the Bugatti Chiron Sport, discoveries about shared components revealed something surprising. Not every part in a hypercar is unique. While the design, performance, and branding are extremely exclusive, many safety and electronic systems still come from large global suppliers that also serve mass-market cars. This includes items like airbags, sensors, and control modules that must follow